So here's Winnie in the round pen. We're working on squeezing her through some barrels, trying to get her used to things like that. Here she was having a hard time getting through, so I just asked her to back up, and now I'm asking her to go through again. And there she went quite easily. I have the barrels quite a ways apart for her, so the saddle isn't touching the barrels whatsoever, and that's quite a bit easier for her. Here I'm asking her to circle around me and go through the barrels. Normally I would expect my horse to just be able to trot through there, but she has some difficulties and has to stop. There she goes through, nice and calm. Now I've taken the lead rope off, and I'm just going to put her out on a circle and see how she does with the saddle on, because the saddle is a squeeze in itself, and to have the stirrups flapping and the saddlebags flapping is a little bit of commotion for her, and she's definitely not used to it. This is the second time I've had her in the round pen with the saddle on. Normally Winnie just goes crazy in the round pen. You ask her to circle and she'll just take off, bucking and farting and going as fast as she can. Here you can see she goes to a trot. She's really stiff in the canter. There she just doesn't know what to do. She's all over the place, having a really hard time with that saddle on. There I ask her to come in. She's still having a hard time looking out of the round pen. Definitely a loss of confidence. Here she can finally come in. Normally she will go and go and go in the round pen, and you just have to let her burn off some energy out there before you can ask her to come in. But she's obviously very unsure of what to do with the saddle on. So I moved the one barrel up there to make the squeeze a little tighter for her and for the stirrups to touch at least one of the barrels. There you can hear her blowing. She's obviously going around the round pen with the saddle on was tough for her. And there you see her yawning. She's definitely coming off of some adrenaline. So I'm just waiting for her to be able to deal with that. Yawning is always a sure sign that they just had an adrenaline rush, and they're trying to deal with that. Again, I wait a little longer. She's just not quite ready. You know, if we can read these signs, boy oh boy, can we start building some good confidence in our horses instead of pushing them through things that they just can't handle. Because you just go ahead and push them through, and it's not going to build confidence. So I just asked her to back away from the object and again to reapproach it because she's having such a difficult time. You can see a little bit of pawing and yawning again. I know that she's braced in her mind, trying to figure out how she's going to get through there without having to save her life. Like I had written in my blog before, I swear that she must have gotten stuck somewhere before I got her. She is a big girl, and boy oh boy does she have a hard time squeezing. There I just used a little bit of a shoulder draw, and I led her out. With me going first, it gives her a little more confidence. She's shaking her head, which is another sign of difficulty. So here I decide to go on the other side of her and draw her out, me being the leader, which made it a lot easier for her to be able to go through those barrels. Sometimes you need to do that a few times before they gain enough confidence in themselves that they can lead themselves through. Here I'm just holding onto the stirrup, and as you can see, she just froze. I tried to do this earlier this year, I believe it was, and she just lost it. She took off bucking and just couldn't handle it whatsoever. So actually what she's doing here is really quite good for her. So I'm trying to bring her nose in so she can sniff it. There you can see her ears went forward, so she was being a little more interactive with me instead of being totally frozen. Here I grab a treat and I just give her a whistle, which she knows is a treat, trying to get her to relate friendly with the stirrup. Again, you could see as soon as I pulled that out, she quit chewing, froze, went inside herself, can't handle it. So again, asking her to interact a little bit. And you can see her ears are still back there. She's having a very hard time trying to interact. However, she is moving. And when horses are totally inside themselves, you can't move them. They're just right inside themselves. Again, you can see her eyes aren't blinking. Everything about her is stiff at that point. And it's really something to watch for and be careful, because a horse like that, when they go inside themselves, they could absolutely explode, which Winnie has done before. I don't feel when I'm working here that she's at that point though. Again, still having difficulties with this. You can see again. She's just starting to blink there though. Horses that are totally inside themselves, they won't even blink. So she was blinking a little bit there, still staying with me. And here she's interacting quite well. Things that we work on, and after doing this I was actually able to get her through a gate that I've had to lead her through many times. We were able to ride through the gate with minimal scooting through there, very much like you'd seen her in going through the barrels there last time. And the first time I had taken her through this particular gate, she almost jumped right on top of the horse that was in front of her, and that's when I learned that she had a very difficult time squeezing through things. So here I'm just asking her to circle and get a little momentum and see how she does with the barrels now. And again, she still has to stop. She gives us something to work on anyway. So here again, I lead with a little bit of a shoulder draw. She's shaking her head, having difficulty, and away she goes.